Well, he was standing in a country where free speech was weaponized to conduct a genocide. And he met with the head of a political party that has far-right views and some historic ties to extreme groups. The context of that was changing the tone of it. And you know that the censorship was specifically about the right.
No, I have to disagree with you.
That's CBS host and professional midwit Margaret Brennan illustrating what apparently passes for journalism on her network moments before getting absolutely shut down by Secretary of State Marco Rubio for her ridiculous claims. Welcome to Nerk News, I'm Nerkish, and it looks like Margaret Brennan must have entered in some secret competition for dumbest reporter alive, because in the past 6 months she's put her foot in her mouth more than a baby who just discovered their toes. Here she is unironically suggesting that World War II started because Germany had too much free speech.
Free speech was not used to conduct a genocide. The genocide was conducted by an authoritarian Nazi regime that happened to also be genocidal because they hated Jews and they hated minorities and they hated those that they had a list of people they hated, but primarily the Jews. There was no free speech in Nazi Germany. There was none. There was also no opposition in Nazi Germany. They were a sole and only party that governed that country. So that's not an accurate reflection of history. I also think it's wrong. Again, I go back to the point of his speech. Okay, the point of his speech was basically that there is an erosion in free speech and intolerance for opposing points of view within Europe, and that's of concern because that is eroding. That's not an erosion of your military capabilities. That's not an erosion of your economic standing. That's an erosion of the actual values that bind us together in this transatlantic union that everybody talks about. And I think allies and friends and partners that have worked together now for 80 years should be able to speak frankly to one another in open forums without being offended, insulted, or upset. And I spoke to foreign ministers from multiple countries throughout Europe. Many of them probably didn't like the speech or didn't agree with it, but they were continuing to engage with us on all sorts of issues that unite us. So again, at the end of the day, I think that people give that is a forum in which you're supposed to be inviting people to give speeches, not basically a chorus where everyone is saying the exact same thing. That's not always going to be the case when it's a collection of democracies where leaders have the right and the privilege to speak their minds in forums such as these.
Mr. Secretary, I'm told that we are out of time.
You know, I don't want to be dramatic here, but this is the kind of stuff President Trump is talking about when he says establishment media is the enemy of the people. I mean, after all, they routinely push propaganda, gaslight their viewers, fearmonger, and push divisive and heated rhetoric 24/7. Then they have the nerve to pretend that they're the victims because they're being unfairly targeted for speaking truth to power. But for the sake of argument, let's just review. On a single Sunday, CBS News managed to blame weaponized free speech for World War II, run an interview with former USAID head Samantha Power's radical left-wing speechwriter to propagandize against their recently exposed corruption, and run a segment glorifying German authorities for conducting pre-dawn raids on citizens over social media posts.
The criticism that, this feels like the surveillance that Germany conducted 80 years ago. How do you respond to that?
There is no surveillance.
Josephine Ballon is a CEO of Hate Aid, a Berlin-based human rights organization that supports victims of online violence.
In the United States, a lot of people look at this and say this is restricting free speech. It's a threat to democracy.
Free speech needs boundaries. And in the case of Germany, these boundaries are part of our constitution. Without boundaries, a very small group of people can rely on endless freedom to say anything that they want, while everyone else is scared and intimidated.
And your fear is that if people are freely attacked online, that they'll withdraw from the discussion.
This is not only a fear, it's already taking place. Already half of the internet users in Germany are afraid to express their political opinion, and they rarely participate in public debates online anymore. Half of the internet users.
Now, I don't know about you, but I think it's pretty clear the picture CBS is trying to paint here. What's even more outrageous, though, is that they're so stupid and think so little of their viewers that they think they'll be fooled so easily. Which frankly says a lot considering their competition in legacy media. I mean, it's almost like they may have overtaken MSNBC and CNN as the premier anti-American DNC propaganda outlet. But let me know what you think. Which legacy media network is the most dishonest to you? Let me know in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. That stuff really does help us out. Until then, this has been Nerk News. Thanks for watching. Bye!